anane, hey anane, oh hey anane. Hey anane, hey anane, hey anane, oh hey anane. Way boy, leo nani, o leo nino. Way boy, leo nani, o leo nino. Hey anane, hey anane, hey anane, oh hey anane.
I just fell in love with this song. It's just an acorn processing song. It's a Paiute song from the east side. The Paiutes on the east side loved acorn, but they don't have acorns over there. That's why we traded back and forth. That's the reason we filtered over the mountains and ran the Chukchansis off of their land, is because we wanted the black oak acorn, and we had to have it. Acorn is a pure living food. If you're putting something that sacred into your body, man, you're putting life into your body. I know the power of acorn. I know what it can do for the human body. Our men were long-distance runners, and they would just have a little fanny pack and put some of those konawoys, those dumplings, in a pack, maybe with a little bit of jerky, and then run to Bishop. There was some form of acorn processing going on every day in the village, because for each person in the tribe, it took approximately 1,000 pounds of acorn to sustain one individual for a year. When you're processing acorn, I mean, it's work, but it is a spiritual experience. Acorn is in charge the whole time, and you better do it its way, or you're gonna wind up throwing it over the hill, because it's not gonna come out right. This little rock here can be made out of granite. Usually it is. It's called a Passoa We'inu. I love doing this the traditional way. I've tried using hammers to crack and shell. The Passoa We'inu is the best way. It's a big process. Because, I mean, cracking and shelling, well, you've already gathered, so there's a big job there, and you made your acorn granary, and you sweat doing that, so you're ready to crack and shell. Once you get them this way, then you got to get the red skins off. We set them out in the sun, because acorns are full of oil, so when you set them in the sun, the skins start to turn loose. But they still have got those 3 seams where they grow together, and you got to put a knife in there, a weehee, and pop that open to get that red skin out. And then you got to leach it, which is running water over the flour. They would go down to the creek, make a nice little mound of sand with an abalone shell, flatten it off on top, make a little dam around it, and either put cedar boughs down on the leaching bed or putting it right down on the sand. And they heat water in a basket with the soapstone rocks, because you cook from the inside out. But you just keep working that rock around in there, and you keep sticking your finger in there till it's the right temperature, and then you ladle it on your acorn flour. And the sand pulls the water through the acorn. And then you're ready to cook. We're back to the soapstone again. Soapstone is extremely, extremely hot. And what happens when it goes in that basket with that acorn, what it's doing is actually roasting the acorn. And you can actually see that acorn brown in that basket, and it just brings out the richness of the flavor. You cannot get that in a pot. You just cannot, because a pot can't get as hot as this soapstone. I've got these things so hot when I put them in a basket, it actually scared me. So you want some really good chika-onos. Chika-onos are stirring sticks. And so you want some good strong ones, and you want to be ready for action, and you better be strong. And our grandmas were really strong. These are black oak acorns that have been cracked and shelled, and I'm going to split the seams open. Each acorn has about 3 seams. And what I do is I push the acorns. There's a little bit more in here than I normally would have, but I push them to the end, and then I just work my way through, splitting the seams wherever I see them. I try to keep some kawan, that's the uncooked acorn, in the freezer. And then that way all I've got to do is thaw it out and mix it with the desired amount of water, and then I've got it hot. My husband built me a tray that I can leach 5 gallons of flour at a time. But what I've done is I put it in other foods. You can put it in bread. I've even made pies out of it, pumpkin pie. There's maybe 5 of us in the North Fork area that gather acorns, and we can't even find enough for ourselves at this point. It is difficult to find acorn because the trees are unhealthy, because of the mistletoe, because of the competition from other trees taking their water. A long time ago, there were more oak trees. A lot have died, a lot. My grandmas would not allow their environment to look this way. They're gonna either cut trees, prune them. When they would go through, they're gonna burn. Their number one thing was their oak trees. And that sustained not only them, but the squirrels, and the squirrels provide for the other animals. So we're back to balance. Now it is totally out of balance. If you don't use something, you neglect it, it goes away. So the oak trees are gonna go away.
Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of our culture. The animals need the plants, the people need the plants. Without the beautiful ancestors of the plants, I don't see how we could exist. Constantly they are giving, constantly we are taking. And that happens a lot with development when they scrape the ground and scrape the skin of the Mother Earth, and they take out 100 oak trees and they say, don't worry, we're gonna give them back to you. And when they give them back to us, they plant them in a 5-gallon can. And you know that in your lifetime, you will never get to see that tree give the acorns, you know, and come to full bloom, because it takes them such a very long time. So that's why we try to plant things ourselves in our yard, so that we're helping them come back, you know.
I'd like to welcome you to a few of the members from the Chia Cafe Collective, a group of Southern California native and non-native who come together for their love and interest in native plants and all the gifts that they give to us. Sage is so good for a sore throat, for your gums, if you have a lot of dental work done. The seeds can be ground, just like chia. They can be ground and they can be toasted, and you can make them into things. You can add them to your beverages or to thickening as a soup or a stew. We used a very special type of tool, a beater fan. That's what we use to get the seeds out, tapping them out so that the plant still was allowed to be there. And then toasting was done in flat baskets by putting hot coals or hot rocks in there and simply stirring them on top of the seeds, and that would cook them into your tea. This is how you can make them in a modern way. Native plant gardens are very popular because of the drought, so people are learning that they can have medicines just right in front of them. We encourage you to grow your own.
Barbara's been doing teas for years, and the white sage tea is one that she talks about a lot, and because it has all those nice things in it, like antibacterial properties, antimicrobial, antiseptic, it is very cooling on a warm day. As Chia Cafe Collective, there are certain results that we want from the work that we do, and Barbara, one of the original goals that she had was to make a lot of our harvesting places accessible to people. It was also to provide education to not only our own communities, but to the general public about the importance of native plants. So today, our palates have become so desensitized because of a lot of the processing that our foods contain with the white sugar and the flour. So we're trying to reintroduce people to some of the contemporary foods by having those items. Like sometimes we do use white flour, sometimes we do use products like agave syrup, but it's to combine those two and get people used to that way of eating, and then they can gradually start removing some of those products, the white flour, and kind of reverse the process of what has been done.
All of our communities are threatened and losing people from diabetes and other diseases that come in from the introduced diet. So a lot of the tribes have been, going back to their traditional foods and growing them and sharing them and utilizing them and making themselves healthy. So it's all about that, about making our communities healthy again and correcting things.
We're so used to getting everything from stores, those of us who live in urban areas and cities. Everything that we need to survive for the most part comes from a store, whether it's food, clothing, a repair on your house, everything is from a store, it's there. We're not used to going out and harvesting and gathering that ourselves. With chia, our traditional chia, you really can't find in our area. The chia that you find in the stores is a different species. Our chia, you just can't find anymore. So it makes me feel that there's this wanting for us to be able to grow that again and to harvest it the way my ancestors did. Because it's one of the foods that we can't go out in nature and harvest. There's just not enough of it anymore. What I just made right now, I used to call it chia candy, but we kind of changed the name to chia power bars because of the health benefits. It's something that you can take with you on a hike, or if you're outdoors gardening, you can keep it in a little baggie, and it really boosts your energy level. You can really add it to anything and get a protein boost from it. Aside from the protein that it has omega-3s in it, so it does have a lot of health benefits to it. Just like I do with any plant, I'm looking at it for, the nutritional value it has, and I see it as that's its gift that it's giving to us as humans. Those are the things that I try to pass on to the children, is trying to make that connection that the earth is what it's all about, and I'm always telling them we all come from different mothers, but we only share one Mother Earth.
I think children especially don't realize that their house is made out of wood, their clothing might come from a plant. Our tribe, everything we needed came from the plant. Our food, our medicine, our clothes, our soap, our tools, our basketry, everything. The plants were so very important to us, as they still are today. So we are relearning those things today. We would like to call our ancestors by singing a song and welcome them to be with us. We always do that because they are our teachers.
Tai hunuka neshun neshun, tai hunuka neshun neshun, nahakwa neshun nahakwa he, nahakwa neshun nahakwa he. As a person who learned from my elders about these things, the only thing that I can really hold on to is hope. If we can start getting people to understand, I don't care where you go on this earth, you better honor the indigenous of that place, whether it's the people, the animals, the plants, the water, because that's what's going to heal you. That's what's going to continue you living as a human on this earth. The moment that you disregard that, everything is thrown out of balance.